This Is Your Life, and those hysterical scenes were from the 1960s. The pop group who were at the centre of attention then are still going strong in the 90s. In fact, they're here at Radio 1 as guests of the Steve Wright in the Afternoon programme to talk about their 1991 album.
1984.
It is Radio 1 FM. Here's a tune from 1968 on 1 FM.
They started as schoolboys, earning pennies at speedway stadiums. They've had their setbacks, and they've made their comebacks, and they're still among the top of the world's pop stars, and they're writing songs for others as well. Here in the studio, one of their tracks is just coming to an end.
Okay, that was 1968. This is 1991. They were here before on Steve Wright in the Afternoon, and they're here again. My special guests are the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees are here.
Yes, despite the rumours, we're back.
Yes.
Hello, oh, my God. And the reason why I'm here, of course, is to say, gentlemen of the Bee Gees, tonight, this is your life.
I don't believe it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. I'm sorry.
It was all lies. Thank you, Steve.
It's a setup. Oh, man. It's a setup. It's a setup.
It's a setup. We've got a slightly larger studio waiting for you just down the road. Right. So, I'd like to come this way. Steve, tell the listener to serve it as normal now. Thank you again to Steve Wright, who's joined by a collection of top DJs from Capital Radio and Radio 1. We couldn't have sprung our surprise without secret meetings at your homes in Miami with some special people. Barry's wife, Linda, with children Michael, Travis, Ashley and Stephen. Robin's wife, Queena, and sons Robin, John and Spencer. And Morris's wife, Yvonne, with Samantha and Adam.
God, you did this well.
That's the best-looking bunch we've had on stage for a long time. But safely surrounded by your greatest fans and with the very best of the Bee Gees high in the charts, let's look back on 4 decades of making music.
I'm going back to Massachusetts. Something's telling me I must go home.
How can you stop the rain from falling down? How can you stop the sun from shining? What makes the world go round? Stop talking, telling me lies. Nobody believe what you say. It's but your job talking that gets in the way. Laying it on the nights on Broadway, singing them love songs. It's much harder to come back. I'm waiting in line.
Now, the three of you wrote all those hits, and yet it's hard to believe, if it's true, that none of you writes a note of music.
That's right.
No,
We don't write music.
We can't read or actually write music.
Can't write a single crotch. Crotchet.
Well, music was certainly in the air when your dance band leader father married your mother in 1944. His band formed an arch of musical
superstar.
instruments. Now, Barry, you were born in 1946, the twins 3 years later, and you were still in infant school when you started singing in harmony.
And I thought you'd left the radio on in your bedroom.
Do you realise it took a television show in England to get your mother off the slot machines in Las Vegas?
Flown in from their home in Nevada, your mum and dad, Barbara and Huey. It's a long walk down there, isn't it? Now, Barbara, back to your days in Manchester. You thought the brothers, you said, were listening to the radio. So you opened the bedroom door.
Then you close it
I thought they were listening to the radio. I opened the bedroom door, and the three of them, the two little tots and Barry, were sat on the bed singing in perfect harmony.
Ah. And they did an encore for you, Huey, when you got home.
Yeah, they were really great. And what happened shortly after that is Barry got the bottom of an old cheese barrel, put a piece of wood on it, pinched the household fuse wire, and made a guitar. And then when I saw things were heading that way, I bought him one, £4. Second-hand guitar, right? And that's where it all started.
Well, by that time, your father's band leader job had brought the family back to Manchester from your birthplace in the Isle of Man. It was 1955 and rock and roll ruled. Saturday morning children's cinema clubs held competitions, kids miming to stars like Bill Haley and the Comets. But somehow the record you took along got broken. So, Maurice, what happened next?
Well, actually, we in those days, records broke. They were not, they weren't unbreakable. And we were walking towards the theatre door, and I dropped it. And we were going to mime to it, because the kids mimed, but it broke. We got onto the stage manager put the microphone in front of us, and we sang Lollipop.
Yeah.
Which was what we used to sing at home all the time.
How did that go?
Oh, no. All right, okay.
This is twice the fee.
Yeah, right.
All together now.
Lollipop, lollipop, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop.
And I'd like to say that was the debut of the Bee Gees, but you didn't call yourselves that in those days.
That's true.
What were you, Robin?
Rattlesnakes, we Johnny Hayes and the Blue Cats and the Rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes was first, yeah.
Has a certain ring.
It was more of a skiffle sort of thing that was in at the time.
Well, I don't know if you had a feeling then, lads, that you would go far, but just 2 years later you did, to Australia. The family settles at Redcliffe near Brisbane. Now, Huey, you have to spend months at a time out of the bush working as a photographer's assistant, but the boys make quite serious pocket money singing from the back of a truck between races at the local Speedway Stadium. And your career gets a kickstart when you're talent spotted by a Brisbane DJ. He features you on his top-rated lunchtime programme. Next, you're picked up by local television. Here is your very first appearance.
Oh, my old man, he wears nothing less. He wears no blinding trousers, and he lives in a council.
An early influence on your musical style was, oddly enough, not a dustman, but an international star you never dreamed would one day become a close pal. From Connecticut, Neil Sedaka.
Congratulations, Morris, Robin, and Barry. I've been a Bee Gees fan for at least 30 years. I'm dating myself. They write the best songs. They are standards, evergreens, and they appeal to every age group. Sorry I'm not with you guys. Regards from Westport, Connecticut, from the Sedaka family. And keep going. We love you. Bye.
Thank you, Neil Sedaka. You have no fewer than 11 record releases before you have your first success, Spicks and Specks.
The sun that shone on my head, the sun in my life, it is dead, it is dead.
Well, ironically, news of that #1 hit in Australia reached you when you'd already boarded the boat home, and the outlook was distinctly sunny when you arrived in London and auditioned for an Australian-born pop impresario. The result, an exclusive management deal that was to make you millionaires. Recalling that February of 1967, Robert Stigwood.
Dear Baz, Rob and Mate, nothing gives me greater pleasure than being an old Aussie bushwhacker to celebrate this as your life. I am thrilled for you tonight, and I send you, your families, and all your children, all my love, and I love you all.
Thank you, Robert Stigwood. Well, now, by September, you'd released the first of your international hits, New York Mining Disaster. By the end of the 60s, you had over 24 #1s in 15 countries. And someone else was finding fame in films, such as Twinkie and Straw Dogs. Close family friend Susan George.
Oh, come on.
Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Sue, film producer now, how did the friendship begin?
Well, it began...
Careful.
I won't tell that. It began because Andy Gibb was one of my closest friends. And he introduced me to the boys and indeed to the family. And for me, they were my American family and always at home for me and always there for me.
Ah, lovely. Thank you very much, Susan George. Thank you. Well, after 60s success, the 70s start in discord. The pressure of non-stop work is telling. Robin goes solo, and the eldest of the Gibb children stands in for him at the talk of the town, the first and last female Bee Gee. But she quit the pop scene and now runs her own boarding kennels in Sydney. Your sister, Leslie.
Wow.
Hi, guys. I'd love to have seen your faces at this time. I'd have given anything to have been with you. Anyway, we will be next year if everything goes according to plan.
Hi, I bet it was a wonderful surprise. We're very proud of you. Congratulations, and I hope it's still going on for years to come.
Hello, I would just like to say hello to my cousin Travis.
Big waves.
Lovely.
Thank you, Leslie and family. Now, you three are back on song with a vengeance by 1971 with a #1 in the American Hit Parade and a triumphant return tour of Australia. Your continuing domination of the charts hits a peak in 1978 with your songs for Saturday Night Fever.
When they all should let us be, we belong to you and me. We know how to do it. Give it a night, even night fever. We know how to show it.
Your music for Saturday Night Fever has a profound influence on one of the world's greatest pop idols. Right now, as usual, he's recording a new album. On the line from his Hollywood studio, Michael Jackson.
Hello, brothers. This is Michael Jackson calling from Los Angeles. I think you're brilliant and you deserve all your success. And your Saturday Night Fever album is what inspired me to record the Thriller album. I love you all. Have a wonderful time. Say hello to Steve and Gibb from me, Barry. Goodbye.
Thank you, Michael Jackson. You'll also find harmony away from the recording studios. All three of you find married happiness second time round. Barry to Linda in September 1970, after being introduced by young Jimmy Savile himself. Morris to Yvonne in October 1975, and Robin to Dwina in July 1985. Then, as if 6 Grammy Awards weren't enough, you even got to be impersonated, all three of you, by a certain mad broadcaster.
Wonderful. Great. You see? Oh. Yeah.
We're children of the world, watching every day go by. Changing my life, changes your life, keeps us all anticipating. We are searchers of the truth.
And back in roughly one piece tonight, Kenny Everett. Kenny?
It's uncanny, the likeness. We look just like you.
You looked wonderful on the screen there.
I look wonderful now, you rat. Actually, the only problem with that sketch was because, apart from doing all the parts and taking years about it, was getting a really hairy chest wig. So we scoured town, wig specialities, Bermans. We couldn't find one that was hairy enough, so we borrowed Barry's.
That was worth working on, Kenny.
That's
Thank
my funny
you very
line.
much
Good
indeed.
night.
In 1979, the year of the child, you performed and donated your song, Too Much Heaven, to UNICEF. The Prince's Trust has also benefited from your charity appearances, as has Capital Radio's Help a London Child. Come the 80s, you start to concentrate on writing and producing recording hits for other stars.
And we got nothing to be guilty of. Our love. I'm in the middle of a chain reaction. You give me all the after midnight action. I wanna get.
And we hear now first from the world's top-earning singing star, Kenny Rogers.
Well, hi, guys. Congratulations on this. It's obviously a very big evening for you. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there in person to help you share and enjoy this thing, but I want you to know I'm very excited about being a part of it regardless. You not only are responsible for some of the best music that I've ever heard, but you're also responsible for some very dear friendships to me. And congratulations, guys. Look forward to seeing you.
Next, Dionne Warwick.
Hi, Barry, Maurice, and Robin. I'm sorry I can't be with you there in person to hug you and congratulate you on this wonderful honor. I remember very vividly, in Florida, in the studio, not wanting to record Heartbreaker. But I must say a great big thank you. It was the biggest record I've ever had. When we're going to do it again, I look forward to it. Take good care, God bless, and I love all three of you.
And now, Diana Ross.
I would like to congratulate you, Barry, and Robin, and Morris for your success and your longevity in this ever-changing music business. And I thank you for letting me play a very small part in your life.
And lastly, Barbra Streisand.
10 years ago, Barry and I collaborated on an album. I'll never forget the experience. It was the most fun I ever had making a record. And tonight, all of the Gibb brothers are being honored by This Is Your Life. Am I happy to be part of this celebration? I plead guilty.
Thank you, Kenny Rogers, Dionne Warwick, Diana Ross, and Barbra Streisand. Now, back in 1969, there was a TV film on this side of the Atlantic, Cucumber Castle. Remember the bedroom scene? Your co-star, you call him your old uncle, in fact, Frankie Howerd.
No.
Sit down.
Get away.
Sit down.
aside. Now, sit down.
All right.
How dare you? How very, very dare you? Shut your faces. I want a public apology. We did this film. It was called the Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Terrible film. I was marvellous, mind you, but the rest of it, I was.
You were very brilliant.
And what about Cucumber Castle? How you dare sit there and look me in the face? They got me into bed. I'll rephrase that. I was in bed and playing a grandfather. To them, only a couple of years younger. So grandfather. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you dare! Nice. Anyway, I forgive you. I forgive you. Anyway, God bless you. Anyway, I still need the money, so if you got any more work, I'll be grateful.
Thank you, Frankie Howard.
All right.
What happy memories. Now, running parallel with your own achievements, another gifted brother found his place in the spotlight. Youngest of the family, Andy Gibb, had a series of hits in the late 70s, including An Everlasting Love and Shadow Dancing. After his death just 3 years ago, you dedicated this song to him.
I wish you were here, drying these tears I cry. They were good times, but a bad time of year. Oh, being alone, 'cause you're dealing with a heart of stone. Try, it's to say goodbye. Try to throw our love away, and that storm will blow.
Well, the 90s see you once more as top international performers with worldwide hits like this from your new album, High Civilization, Secret Love. Now let's rewind again to that Speedway Stadium near Brisbane. Just schoolboys, you sang from the back of a truck. Your pay was pennies tossed to you by the crowd. The year was 1959, and you made your first ever recording, 20 Miles to Blue Land.
20 miles to Blue Land.
You dig this up.
20 miles to Blue
But to me, it seems like only yesterday.
The Brisbane DJ who set your future spinning all those years ago, from Australia, Bill Gates.
Oh, come
Bill, it was you who finally gave the brothers their name.
Well, that's right, Michael. We had some great songs recorded, and we needed a name that the people could remember. And so we were sitting around your home at Redcliffe, and it suddenly occurred to me that there are all these Bee Gees in the room. Barry Gibb, Barbara Gibb, the brothers Gibb.
Eric Smith.
Eric Smith.
We all talk about him.
The Speedway promoter Bill Good and Bill Gates. So all these Bee Gees, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and I think it worked.
It seemed as so you decided on the Aristocrats, but later you changed it to the Bee Gees.
That's right, the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees it is. Barry, Robin and Morris, this is your life.
Thank you.
Who's going to take the book?